gummy bear.
It's the internet, you're busy. Let's do this for August 11th, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Kirby wears a Kirby on his head, and they're finally putting anime into video games. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa from Giant Bomb. Jan, how are you doing?
I'm terrible.
Oh, no.
I got it. You didn't see that on camera.
I mean, we saw you hold it up, so, I mean, it could have been a trick. You could have been messing with us, but I believe you.
Yes. I'm grifting everyone right now.
Yes, it was a ball and a cup, right? Is that what that toy is called? Ball and cup?
A kendama, because this has three cups technically and a spike.
Whoa.
But I have a question for you, Jeff Grubb.
Please.
This is a tech support question.
Oh no.
So I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then my Switch was like, "Yo, dog, you're running low on battery."
Mm-hmm.
Threw it in the dock to charge, pulled it out, and then Switch was a little hot. Dock was a little hot, and my Switch won't turn on anymore.
Oh no. Like,
so
how long has it been?
Since yesterday.
Oh no. Okay.
So I've tried several different outlets, different USB-C chargers.
Sure.
If anyone listening at home, the Giant Bomb universe, can perhaps lend me some assistance.
What have you tried so far beyond? Have you tried holding down the power button for a very long time? Yes, you have. Okay.
Yes, I that was the one tooltip or support article that I found on Nintendo. It was not helpful. I'm gonna try several other USB-C chargers and see what happens then, and then hope to God that my army of 9-year-olds has not disappeared.
Yeah, for real. That's important. I need to know what happens to Joran, which apparently is a big deal. I would try canned air, blow out the stuff, plug it back in, try USB, because I mean maybe it is still getting too hot. I would probably just also give it more time, unplug, just sitting alone, maybe in a cool, dry spot, and then plug it in again after a while, and with a different USB charger, and go for it. Otherwise, I mean, Switches are pretty easy to service, so if it comes down to it, we can maybe look into that. But also, there's a million of those. Hey, we fix, or you break, we fix spots, and they are very good at fixing Switches these days. So you can always just drop it off there, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, we've seen this a million times before. Here you go." Okay. Yeah, we don't want to lose those sweet children who are willing to kill for you. Absolutely, that's very important. All right, before we get into that mess, let's talk about what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, the catch-up where we discuss the biggest topics consuming the lives of gamers everywhere, and maybe even bring in some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can also listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. We love you too. Okay, we have a lot to get into. Let's start the morning mess with Kirby's Dream Buffet is coming next week.
Delicious.
We got a little bit of this confirmed earlier. Well, we got the game confirmed earlier where they said, hey, we are working on this. It's coming this summer. And everyone's like, well, what does that mean? It's already summer. When is this coming? Well, apparently August 17th. Yes, August 17th, Kirby's Dream Buffet. I'm looking forward to this because I like the Kirby offshoots, Jan, where we have our core Kirby games. They made a core 3D Kirby game, which was great. I've gone back to that in the last couple of weeks, and I'm really enjoying myself. I'm gonna fully see it through because it's like it does keep getting better as you play. But I've always liked Kirby's Dream Course and Kirby's, the pinball games and stuff like that. There's all kinds of fun stuff. This one seems like a fun racing party mini game collection that I'm into, and it seems like I think it's like $30. You can pre-order it now. Does this strike your fancy?
Oh, totally. There was like a 2D kind of brawler Kirby that came out a handful of years ago, 2 or 3 maybe, that I actually wound up enjoying a lot, and I was able to play with my partner because it was pretty low rent in terms of gaming skills, I guess. that it was nice. And also I feel like Kirby they just use as like he's like the homie that just slots in that where they need
Yeah.
him to. It's like, hey, we have this weird idea for a game. It's a roundish thing. Oh, Kirby's a roundish thing. Throw that bad boy in there. And it's just so cute. And Kirby appeals, I think, to the mass audience more so than a lot of Nintendo's other characters. More so than Mario, I think. I know Kirby isn't as big as Mario, but I feel like internally it's like, oh, look at that little guy.
Yeah, and I think like that's all, like the history of Kirby, where this could be anachronism. What's the word for like a story that's not exactly, that could be not true, but whatever. It's when they were building Kirby originally, this was mostly placeholder art for the character. Like, okay, we'll fill this in later. Let's just kind of put a round blob here and have him jump around, and we'll put something in later. And they're like, well, everyone fell in love with this round blob, so we're going to keep it. He looks like a friend, and that's always the thing. Like, he just looks apocryphal. Thank you, Parada.
That's what Giant Bomb thought of me, and here we are.
That's right. Yeah, Jan looks like, just draw something that looks like a friend. You're going to end up with Jan Ochoa and Kirby. So yeah, like I think that something about that where it's like he just slots in like this very cute placeholder art into anything. It definitely works. And it's weird how they like Kirby gets everything, and then there's some things like Star Fox and F-Zero that don't get anything for years and years at a time, or when they try to offshoot like Star Fox games, they stink. They're not very good. And there have been a lot of like not great Kirby spinoffs as well. There just have been some excellent ones from the beginning. Some of the puzzle games are good. Kirby's Dream Course is legit one of my favorite games of all time. So it's like I'm always getting excited when they're like, we're going to do something with these mechanics, with these characters, and with this art style. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll show up for this. I'm excited about it. I also like it whenever Nintendo says we can put out a game that isn't a full price game. It's a download only. It's $30. Yes. It can be smaller. I'm like, yes, please do more of that. We got to a point where we were getting a lot of those games because Nintendo had the Wii and the DS, and then they had the Wii U and the 3DS. And it's like they could put out $30-$40 games on their handhelds, and they could be smaller experiences or just things that were slighter, and yet they had great gameplay like Rhythm Tengoku and stuff like that. And so it's like, okay, was that stuff going to go away once they felt like they had to sell everything just on one platform, and they had to justify everything needs to be a $60 game because this is also a home console? I think if they stick with this, like some games can be download only, maybe we can get a lot more of this stuff like this. I hope that's actually this is indicative of they're going in that direction. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope they embrace that mentality, because I think everyone really enjoys it when Nintendo gets weird, and I don't want to say repurposes stuff, but like throws like a curveball at us. Because even something like Kirby's Epic Yarn, which is still pretty much the same flow as a normal Kirby game, just everything's made out of yarn, is incredibly endearing because it looks so different, and that's Nintendo taking a risk. It is. I just wish they would take that mentality with a lot of their other IP, like you mentioned. Like, I have not a lot of reverence for Star Fox because I didn't grow up with a NES, SNES, or a Nintendo 64, but I had a Game Boy and like a GBA, so that's where I got introduced to Mario, Kirby, Link, and all that jazz, or Samus as well. So just them taking the tools that they have and just make stuff, dog.
Yes.
Like there's so many people that have a fondness for Kirby and their other more popular IP because they're more popular because they're on more things.
Yep.
Like I have a weird fondness for Wario because I played the Wario game that came out on the the Game Boy Color. So I love that little garlicky pervert, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and all of their characters are like have that like appeal, and it's like the more you get exposed to, the more you can fall in love with them. And Kirby's well like into that. Like honestly, how many Kirby games? There's probably close to like 50 at this point. And
like the thing is, sure, like they were hampered by technology, so they can't necessarily bring over a good F-Zero game or a good Star Fox game to their portable lineup. But then the 3DS, was surprisingly powerful. And then now the Switch is just like, either it is a home console that you plug into a dock and leave it plugged in, or it's something that people play purely handheld. and they could have like a bite-sized experience with either of those games.
Absolutely. So, and speaking of bite size, thanks to the chat for shooting this over to me. Kirby's Dream Buffet is up on the Nintendo Store now, so you can see the price, $15 to pre-order, and you can pre-order it now. So bite-sized as hell. Yeah. And I mean, to me, that's the right price for what they're showing for this, where it's like, hey, this seems like it's going to be the kind of thing where you are going to get it because you have friends over, or you planning like a game night or whatever, and then maybe you'll play it again a couple times, but it's not going to be something you go back to a million times, especially not by yourself, excuse me. And I think that that's like, okay, that makes it very easy to justify. Hey, $15, we could be having fun with this Kirby game. I'm into it.
Totally.
All right, let's see here. Microsoft accuses Sony of blocking games from Xbox Game Pass by paying developers. This comes from Liam McKay at Charlie Intel. Microsoft has accused PlayStation owner Sony of paying developers to not add their games to Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft has confirmed its plans to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, and as reported by VGC, has defended the acquisition, accusing Sony of paying developers a block fee to keep their games off of Game Pass. Microsoft accused Sony of trying to inhibit growth of Game Pass in a document sent to Brazil's Administrative Council of Economic Defense. Indeed, and this is a quote, indeed, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been obstructed by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth. Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services, claimed Microsoft in the report. This goes back to something we've heard previously. There was a contract that leaked for Resident Evil Village, and we were never able to fully confirm it, but it seemed like no one said like, no, this for sure is fake. And what I was able to confirm was it does seem like this is probably accurate. And that contract contained a clause that prevented Capcom from putting the multi-platform game Resident Evil Village into subscription services, including Game Pass, in exchange for Sony giving Capcom money and marketing deals and stuff like that. Jan, I think this is being listen. These two companies are going back and forth in Brazil, and I think it's worth note. We'll get to the story in a second. Worth noting that it's just these two companies. Every other company that Brazil's asked is like, we don't care about this. This doesn't affect us. We don't care. So it's just Sony and Microsoft bickering back and forth, and of course they're going to frame things in the most scandalous way for like the other company. Like they're blocking our growth, and and it's like, okay, well, they're just making a marketing deal. And Resident Evil Village, as the example here, or Call of Duty, whatever you want to use, if you are Sony and you're paying money for like a marketing deal so that this game gets associated with your brand, if you then say, oh, it's okay to go put that game on Game Pass, that is marketing specifically against your brand at that point. The appearance of Resident Evil Village on Game Pass would be a marketing bullet point for Game Pass. And if you're paying to have the game associated with your stuff, it just kind of seems like it makes sense at a certain point. Like I feel like, if these companies didn't want to be, or these companies wanted to be on Game Pass, they just wouldn't take this co-marketing deal. But since Sony's giving them money, they're taking the money. It just seems like business to me. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I was reading. We'll like you said, we'll get to the next story. But 100%. This goes with like any type of industry as well. Of like, we're not going to advertise that X movie is also available on your streaming platform because we're juicing all of it to be on our streaming platform. And it just doesn't, it feels like inadvertently, or maybe purposely, both companies are trying to stir the pot to stir their own fan bases. When I really felt like we were past this point of like console tribalism.
Yeah.
And I feel like both companies know incredibly well that like the waterline has gone down exponentially, that people are just going wherever they choose to, and a lot of people will wind up having both consoles if that's an option for them. That like, so Xbox, Microsoft, y'all got a good deal over there. Stop rocking the boat. And then because y'all know that Sony, they got to figure their stuff out because they barely have stuff together sometimes. That we gave them money, so not to not pop up on your stuff, because we just wanted our stamp attached to their thing, because we know that Resident Evil is going to sell, and then the masses will just assume like, oh, okay, I got to get on PlayStation.
Yeah, and these are two companies that obviously are rivals, and this oversight is directly relating to a major deal that if Sony could stop, they would stop, and Microsoft doesn't want it to stop. So like their lawyers are going to make every argument they possibly can, whether or not it's like fully substantiated or is like even something that would be wrong. They're like, well, we can position this and make this other company look bad, and they both are guilty of doing that. And the issue, I think, is in Brazil, these proceedings are public, and so they get out and they can be fuel for that tribalism like you were talking about. But these lawyers are just kind of doing, it seems like they're just doing their job, and it's like lawyer stuff where it's like, okay, obviously they're overstating things to make their case seem better. And it's like, okay, all right. To that end, though, Microsoft refutes Sony's claims that its Activision acquisition is anti-competitive. Big surprise. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Microsoft has responded to Sony's claims that its ongoing attempt to acquire Activision Blizzard would be anti-competitive, especially with regards to Call of Duty. Last month, Sony told Brazil's regulatory body, CADE, which we just referenced before, which, like many regions, is currently studying the proposed deal for approval, that the deal could influence players to switch from PlayStation to Xbox. At the time, it argued Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console. Now, in a 27-page document relating to the acquisition, Microsoft has replied to CADE, attempting to dismiss Sony's claims. In the report, transcribed by VGC, Microsoft notes that while numerous third parties, including Ubisoft and Bandai Namco, gave responses to CADE, Sony was the only company that claimed Call of Duty was in a genre of its own with no competition. Only one third party, Sony, presented materially different opinions than the applicants, and the other third parties consulted by the SG, Microsoft claims, by the SG. Sony is isolated in this understanding and, curiously, even contradicts itself in the response to the letter, as will be detailed below. I look for that, but that's not as important to this story. Microsoft goes on to state that Sony doesn't want to see Call of Duty games on Game Pass on day one because it, quote, is resentful of having to compete with Microsoft's subscription service. Sony's public statement on subscription games and its response to the SG's letter are clear. The response reads, Sony does not want attractive subscription services to threaten its dominance in the digital distribution market for console games. Microsoft goes on to say that the overall Sony's claim is wrong for 5 reasons, and I'll just read those real quick. It's not part of Microsoft's strategy to remove content from players, and Call of Duty will still be on PlayStation as a paid title. Data shows that players see subscription services as only one way to pay for games. Sony's claim ignores the dynamic nature of subscription services and the fact that Sony has its own too. Then there's a redacted one here. Yeah, right. And there are numerous other game distribution channels and subscription services, many of which include content that isn't available on Xbox. Again, this just feels like these two companies sniping back and forth at one another. But Microsoft's argument pretty much comes down to only Sony is being weird about this and saying that Call of Duty is a genre unto itself, which is something Sony did say. And he said no other company is saying that. And Sony's reasoning was like it has a loyal following. And Microsoft's, well, Sony PlayStation has a loyal following, but no one is arguing that Sony PlayStation is a business unto itself. It's part of a larger ecosystem. And then at the same time, Microsoft seems to be downplaying elements of, well, this does give major control of a major slice of the market to Microsoft. But Microsoft's argument back to that is we're just trying to compete. I think, Jan, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you can give your opinion on this.
Sure.
I just think this is going to go through, and these companies are like trying to like run out the clock is what it feels like. Sony's doing the best they can to put up some roadblocks. I don't think it's going to work. And in the meantime, Microsoft's trying to run out the clock. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% think it is that situation, because I feel like Microsoft has been very straightforward with at least Call of Duty continuing to appear on PlayStation platforms for at least like the next couple games.
Right.
The other Bethesda stuff, I know that they've been a little bit like wishy-washy on like,
yeah, I think they're like some live service ones. The MMOs will still be on there, but Starfield will definitely not be. So yeah, but like Call of Duty, I feel like if Microsoft has their marketing hats on, they know that is going to do gangbusters for them, because not only will people that are already subscribed to Game Pass, people might hop on Game Pass if they haven't already.
they have an Xbox, but they know that people on PlayStation will buy this game at full price. Like, it has become the Madden or the FIFA. Like, every annual release, people will spend $60, even if they're only playing Warzone now. They will still shell out the $60. I have groups of friends that are like counting down the days for Modern Warfare 2. I think it's Modern Warfare 2 this year, right?
Yes, it is. Modern Warfare 2
Yeah.
is the game coming out this year, and then we don't know about next year, but it seems like they're skipping and probably putting out more Modern Warfare 2 stuff.
And you know, those friends also will probably not play through the whole campaign. They will just get the game, play the multiplayer, go back to Warzone. Like, that is the vicious cycle that they are caught up in.
Yep. And Warzone almost certainly not leaving any platform it's on. It's a free-to-play game. They want it everywhere.
Yeah. So I just see this as an exercise of both companies are trying to run out the clock. Sony's just trying to squeeze as much COD juice as they can before, Microsoft might tighten up and decide to not release it on other platforms.
Yeah, maybe, but that's not what they're saying right now. So it's like, but still, like that seems to be the concern, that like things will change enough that it'll hurt Sony in the long run. But it's like, it's still gonna come to PlayStation as far as we can tell.
COD oil. Better.
Exactly. Yeah,
because the thing is, like, Call of Duty Mobile is also huge, and I don't see Microsoft shutting that down anytime because of like.
Right.
I will see, like, last time I went to a mall, I saw like a group of 3 teens playing Call of Duty Mobile, and then like their other group of friends, a table next to them, playing Fortnite. But the thing is, like, there's the mind space with Call of Duty still that, like, this is the first person shooter for like serious people. I got to play this one.
Yeah, and I think the likely thing here is Microsoft's probably much more interested in COD Mobile and King and stuff like that, and all the mobile stuff that is powering this deal, than even like getting Call of Duty on Game Pass. Getting Call of Duty on Game Pass is huge. It's important. It'll move things. But again, like I think we talked about this on the Bombcast, if they had to choose between Call of Duty Mobile and getting Call of Duty on Game Pass, that's a tough one. And I think they probably lean towards Call of Duty Mobile in terms of just how much money that's going to make them.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Doom and Quake are being cleaned up for newcomers in time for QuakeCon. This comes from Joshua Wollens at PC Gamer.
Get that schmutz off your face.
Yeah,
Quake.
for real. That's a dirty little Quake. I'm going to hit you with the hose. The company is simplifying the Steam entries for its classic games for a simpler shopping experience, as they put it. id Software has been quietly working on making its Steam library of old games less of a confusing sprawl. Starting yesterday, the company has begun consolidating the various versions, expansions, and mission packs of the older Doom and Quake games into single packages so that newcomers have an easier time. Put simply, that means that where before you had separate entries in your Steam library for things like Doom 2, Doom 2's master levels, and Final Doom, you'll now just have a single entry for Doom 2, which installs all that stuff at once. Real quick, Jan, I was this close to reading opens in a new tab, which I copied along with everything else here. Hey, this is, I'll say that this feels like the industry oscillating back and forth between will they or won't they with Steam. Obviously, Bethesda and Microsoft back in that they will have a relationship with Steam, while other companies seemed like they were moving further away. It also seems like, Ubisoft also might pop back up and be like, oh, actually, after this fling with Epic, and we'll keep our stuff going with Epic, but we might also come back to Steam and stuff like that. It just seems like the industry does this thing where they go back and forth with like, hey, do we want to be this close to Steam or not? And right now, this is obviously part of that trend going back towards Steam, right? Yeah.
Do you think that's at all influenced by the prevalence of like the Steam Deck at all?
I think that absolutely helps. Yeah. I think that it's very easy to before the Steam Deck to look at like the market for Steam and be like, it's established, it's understood. Maybe we can break off and do something different on PC to find some new audience. Well, okay, now with the Steam Deck, Valve has done that work, and they're introducing a whole new group of people to games on PC, and we kind of can't be left out of that party. I think I would expect developers and publishers to be like, it is a honeymoon period for Steam Deck and buying games for your Steam Deck, and it's going to be for the next year or so. And if we don't have some stuff represented there, we could miss out on that, and we could miss out on like understanding what those players want and building a relationship with that new audience. And so, yeah, I think the Steam Deck definitely. It's not like it's some 10 million selling system yet, the Steam Deck, but it feels like eventually it could be, and you just don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah. Is this at all a bad thing, though? A couple of folks are curious about this in the Giant Bomb chat. With some of these, well, they're not necessarily going away. They're just being consolidated, right?
Yes. It's like instead of having to worry about like, oh, there are multiple entries on the store and there's multiple entries in your library, it's probably going to be like all this stuff. Like for Doom 2, these are older games. It's not like it's going to take up a lot of space. You're going to get Doom 2, Doom 2 Master Levels, and Final Doom all installed at the same time, and it'll probably just be like, I would imagine it's going to work like when you start a game and it has different versions, or it's like, oh, do you want to run the server for this game? It'll probably be like a little menu pops up. Do you want Doom 2, Doom 2's Master Levels, or Final Doom? Or maybe they'll bake it right into the game itself and be like, oh, you could just choose from a menu inside the game. But either way, it's like, okay, now it's just all packaged together in a neater way. And I think it's probably smarter.
It's like if IKEA decided to just be a catalog.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I would put it. Because to text no in chat's like saying they're nervous because this is going to mess up the mod hierarchy. That I think that's possible, but I also think that if any studio is cognizant of mod support, it would be id. So I would imagine this is probably going to be fine for the most part. Okay, PlayStation site hints that PC ports may soon need a PSN account in the future. This is like a suggestive sort of thing. There's no real hard evidence here, but let's go through it. A new fact on Sony's website hints that PC ports of PlayStation games may require a PSN account at some point in the future. A section on the official PlayStation website dedicated to PC games contains information for players looking to buy PlayStation Studios titles on Steam or the Epic Game Store. While some games on the site FAQ are definitive, such as ones regarding trophy support for PC games that say they will not sync with your trophy list on your PSN profiles, others include the word currently, implying the situation has the potential to change in the future. Under a question about requiring a PSN account to play PlayStation games on PC, the site states, no, you currently do not need a PSN account to enjoy PlayStation Studios games on PC. I put this story in here for two reasons. One, this came from VGC. I didn't mention that. I like how they're like, we're gonna find a way to make a story. We're gonna make some news happen, and I legit appreciate that. And then two, they're gonna eventually want you to sign into PSN. We were just talking about Call of Duty and Call of Duty Mobile. They're gonna make you sign into an Xbox Live account eventually for that, just like they have with Minecraft. And for and when you're playing Call of Duty on PSN, if Sony wants Call of Duty, which they will, makes them a lot of money, you're gonna have to sign it to your Xbox Live account, I think, to make that happen. So it's delicious. Exactly. For PlayStation's gonna want the same thing. That data is invaluable to these companies. They love to have as much data as possible. It also feels like it keeps you in that ecosystem. It helps them understand like where people are spending money. I think a PC PlayStation Network login is coming eventually. It's probably just a matter of resources where like they haven't gotten around to it yet.
100%. I feel like I have to sign into every single game I play now. So it is right. It's not the biggest ask. It's just an annoyance.
Yeah, and it's an annoyance I'm very used to and expecting at this point. Right? It's like I don't like this, but also it happens, and I don't even complain anymore because of course they're asking me to sign in. Of course.
Yep. By the way, I forgot my Chimera Land sign in.
Oh no!
I don't know how I'm gonna get to my little, my tall bird lady. Fox. She was a fox.
Was she a fox? She looked like an ostrich. She was special to me. That lady.
There was a lot of things going on with her. I
how
don't know.
How are you gonna shoulder step me?
I
stand right here.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I can make a new account.
Yeah, I think the PR did say they would give us the premium codes so that we could unlock a bunch of stuff. So maybe it's time to check it out. I don't know. All right, let's see here. Microsoft says Elden Ring and GTA 5 Xbox Cloud listings were due to a bug. This comes from Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. Xbox Cloud streaming options advertised for Elden Ring and Grand Theft Auto 5 were a bug, Microsoft has told Eurogamer. Last night, fans spotted games such as Soul Hackers 2, GTA 5, and Elden Ring were listed with an option to play via cloud streaming. Some speculated this was being rolled out now in advance of a Gamescom announcement later this month that would enable you to play your owned games over the cloud instead of just via Game Pass games. But Microsoft has now said the games listings, which also flagged them as being part of Xbox Game Pass, was a bug, and that issue has now been fixed. We're aware of a bug that incorrectly displayed some titles as available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. We rolled out a fix, and that is now updated. I still wouldn't be surprised if there's an announcement at Gamescom for this sort of stuff, but maybe this was just a coincidence, right?
Oh, totally. At the same time, I don't know if I would want to play Elden Ring streaming via the cloud. I feel like you're asking for a certain amount of pain playing that game that way.
Yes, absolutely. Although some people have pretty good experience with the cloud, I think I would not want to add any extra input delay to Elden Ring, because it's like it has its own input delay specifically designed for that game, and I wouldn't want to mess that up.
When they say GTA 5, does that include GTA Online?
I think
or is
so.
it just purely 5? Oh,
no,
okay.
I think it includes GTA Online. Yeah.
All right. I believe those GTA Online pervs would want to just play that game.
I think those maniacs would be very interested in that. Yes, absolutely. Because it's not like there's a mobile version of that, but then there would be if you had the cloud version. Yeah. Fortnite tweets Dragon Ball Z reference with a date for the Dragon Ball Z content that is coming to Fortnite. Here, let's bring this up. I have the image right here. There you go. It's the big dragon that grants your wishes. It says "Speak, name your wish," and then the date August 16th, 2022. Jan, can we play more Fortnite?
I would love to play more Fortnite.
Can we all be Goku or
Oops, all Goku.
Oops, all Goku. And then I'm going to be Yamcha, and everyone can yell at me.
We can finally settle who's stronger, John Cena or Goku. But the thing is, both of them have the same mentality when it comes to their opponents of like, you know what? I don't hate you. I'm going to help you up. We're going to be friends now.
Hustle, loyalty, respect, as Goku once said. Absolutely.
Yes. And then John Cena passed CM Punk a sensu bean once.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God, fusion dance emotes.
Yeah, Goku or John Cena definitely went to the afterlife and battled his way back. Absolutely. This is great. I realize that this is exactly the shit I want from Fortnite. Just keep giving me the brands that I know and recognize, and I will, whenever there's something I want to play as, I'll come back, I'll pay you money. And that's the deal with the devil I've strucken, and I will continue to strucken.
So a friend of mine, Jeff Ramos of, I believe he's still at Polygon.
I think so, yeah.
Brought up that they are one property away from perhaps being the best Shonen Jump game, because they already have Naruto.
Yeah.
They're about to have Dragon Ball. I know that One Piece is a big anime for Shonen Jump or whatever studio owns it, that people would go wild. Grubb, I was at a music festival over the weekend, and I can't tell you the number of not only Dragon Ball inspired shirts, but Naruto inspired shirts and One Piece inspired paraphernalia around at like a music festival. These anime pervs, they're not scared anymore.
They're everywhere. They have fully infiltrated, and it's like you look around and it's like, okay, first of all, they're coming into our space, and then suddenly you realize, no, I'm in their space. I'm the outsider here. Oh God, I gotta start watching anime before I get left behind and get kicked out of the group. That's the choice I've made.
They're gonna throw. I bet you within 2 years, the Yu-Gi-Oh crew will be in Fortnite.
I thought within 2 years we will have an anime president, which Joe Biden already an anime president. You know that guy's watching One Piece.
Oh, totally. That guy.
You know, he is absolutely. That's all he does. All right. We'll probably play some Fortnite. Although I'm glad this will take place after Dan no longer has to wear that shirt. Have you seen this shirt, Jan? The shirt that he has to wear.
I've seen this shirt. This just doesn't look like a comfortable shirt.
It looks. I think I'm mad at Ben Hansen for making him wear that shirt. It's like way worse than I was expecting. It also feels like it's not even. I think you're supposed to like design it with this community. I don't think they did that. And I think that would have been way funner. Like I don't know. It's like this is just cruel. There is something wrong with you, Ben Hansen, to do this to a man, even a man like Dan Reichard. Which, man.
If given the choice to design it, I would have just gotten Dan a quadruple XLT, and it just says min max or like Ben Hansen on it, because the idea of Dan Reichert having to wear a gigantic tall tee
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and it just
making
says
him look like a child.
it needs to be this big to cover all my shame and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. I see. We're already like that's already a better shirt instead of having
There we go.
a creepy little voodoo doll on there, whatever thing is.
Let's just go mail Ben Hansen a shirt.
Yeah, there we go. And with a contract that says, no, you have to wear this. You have to. We decided. All right, let's get to the catch up. Let's see. People are mad about people are dragging this trailer for Forspoken. Which have you seen this?
Boy.
This is rough. You know what? A playlist. Let's make sure that's going to actually play. Yeah. Okay. Everyone should be hearing it. It's
So let me get this
pretty
straight.
loud, but parts of this
I'm somewhere
really,
that's
really rough.
not what I would call
Yeah,
Earth. I'm seeing freaking
I
dragons.
still want to play this
and,
game.
Oh yeah, I'm
but-
talking to a cup.
I'm talking to a cup.
Not want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that is something I do
God.
know.
That right there. This
I
line
do
this line
magic.
right here.
Yeah, okay, that is something I do know.
I can't stand it. Yeah, okay, that's something I'll do now. I mean, what are you saying? Why are you talking that way? I can't. And it and people say MCU writing, and I get where you're going with that. This is way below any of those movies. This is like a funhouse mirror of common like Joss Whedonisms that like, and it's not even good. And it's like 20 years late, and also a bad version of all that, at least in the delivery. And I'm hoping this is just bad social media marketing, and the game feels much better than this. But I hate the way this sounds, Jan.
I do magic.
Square
Jack
has
Jones.
a really,
I'll probably
really
fall next.
bad problem showing off their games that aren't Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being very, very low on Guardians when that
Absolutely.
presentation came out. I'm scared the same thing. Well, maybe I'm hopeful, actually, because Guardians wound up being a really good game.
I hated the way Guardians looked, and people are like, this looks okay. I'm like, it does? I think this looks like fucking trash. And then I played it and just slowly fell in love. So maybe this is just waiting to catch us off guard, Jan.
Yeah, but I still can't wait to see Square blaming the Western audiences or their Western studios for Forspoken not doing well after they released this trailer. I'm curious, though, if this trailer is the same worldwide, or do they have the character dubbed in different languages?
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear the Japanese version of this, because I don't know if that same type of character trope exists as prevalent as it does over here.
Mm-hmm. It's rough stuff. There, if you guys are looking for a good time, go read the replies to that one. There's people just be like pretending like it's God of War. So yeah, I'm a god, and and it's just like, okay, yeah, totally nailing it. Yeah, the replies are rough. Okay. Let's see your PlayStation Plus games. Let's see here. The PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games have been announced coming August 16th. They include Bugsnax, Dead by Daylight, Everspace, Metro Exodus, Monopoly Madness, Monopoly Plus, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Trials of Ana, Uno, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2. Honestly, what more do you need than the Yakuza games in Uno? I think you're set there. That's a life.
Yeah, the bottom third of that list is the strongest portion of that list. I constantly forget that Ghost Recon Wildlands exists.
Yeah, I mean,
and that is the thing.
I think Ubisoft wants to forget that Wildlands is the thing.
I wish we could all forget, Grubb. Does Bugsnax, does that include the DLC that came out as well? Or
probably not. I think it's
okay.
Well, is it free? Was it free DLC?
I don't believe it was. I think it was a paid deal.
Yeah, if it's free DLC, obviously it does. If it's not, then I don't think it would. But it maybe check and help me there. But yeah, either way, I mean, it's a pretty okay list. I mean, people love that Dead by Daylight game. More people having a chance to play that will be good. Metro Exodus, a pretty big game that people have not. I feel like it's like it has come and gone, and I think getting on a service like this gives it a chance to have another chance at life and stuff like that. So yeah.
I believe the DLC for Bugsnax was free, so that assumptions should be included, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The Bugsnax DLC was free.
Okay, yeah, then that'll be included. Yes, yeah, there you go.
Sick,
cool. And then just a heads up, you can get nearly the entire Resident Evil series for $30 on Humble Bundle. It includes 0, Resident Evil Remake, 2, 3, 4, 5 Gold Edition, 6, 7 Revelations and Revelations 2 Episode 1 and Revelations 2 Deluxe Edition, as well as a 50% off coupon for Resident Evil Village. So, tell you what, if you're like someone who like wants to start Twitch streaming, you go get this thing and just start streaming Resident Evil games. People show up. People love to watch people play Resident Evil for the first time.
Oh yeah. And you get a lot of good games here.
Yes.
It turns out you just got to deal with Zero and I forget if I like the Revelations. We were talking about this.
I think I liked Revelations 1. It's been a long time, like I said.
Yeah.
But I think I liked it. I never played 2.
It's just there's no Code Veronica. Okay, that's what's missing.
That's the other name for this bundle, the Fuck Code Veronica pack. Which I get it.
I mean, that's Capcom's stance.
That's Capcom's official stance, and that's why I'm voting for them. Okay, let's see here. I have the polls. Let's bring them up. Let's do this. Should Sony regulate which games you could buy in its store? Yes, said 48.9%. No, said 51.1%. I brought this up because there was a story talking about how there's a game that's like just press X to get a trophy. Over on pushsquare.com. And they didn't say anything in that story. They didn't say anything about like, Sony should not let certain games in the store. So I mischaracterized that story. I want to apologize for that. But beyond that, there are people who do say that frequently, where Sony should let fewer games into the store. And I get that notion. I think that the better resources would be spent on improving discoverability for games that people care about, and letting people buy bad games that they want to buy bad games, right?
100%. Like, sure, there is a lot of trash that winds up on the PlayStation Store, but at the same time, it is incredibly hard to find anything on the PlayStation Store. So, like you said, Grubb, I would much rather have them just improve discoverability and just the overall experience of that store, because even if I'm trying to find something that just came out, it can occasionally be very hard. And also, there was the troubles of like, am I getting the PS5 version or is this the PS4 version? I can't tell.
It's just it's like I wish Sony would like kind of show efforts in its store overall and in the it's like game distribution ecosystem overall. That would be nice. I think Sony stands out here. So does Nintendo. The Switch has many similar issues. The Switch, especially because it's like, if a game falls out of featured, if it falls out of like being on the deal list, you can only find those games by then searching for them by name, which means their discoverability is effectively zero, which is that's not good. That's bad. Steam and the Xbox Store have done a pretty good job of still letting just about anything on there, and yet using algorithms, which obviously people have issues with algorithms. I get that, but their algorithms seem to work pretty well, and they've gotten better over time of surfacing the games you're most likely to care about, while still letting through, I think, some potentially interesting weirdness, which is where I'm like, let the weirdness through, and if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. And if you don't want to see it, then hopefully there are filter systems, and again, that's what Steam and Xbox have done a good job with. There are a lot of these crappy games are on Xbox. You just don't see them as often because Microsoft's service does a good job of building in a search function and a surfacing function that eliminates most of this stuff from your view. And I think people want that because when they go into a store, they want to feel like they are getting served up just a bunch of premium stuff they might consider buying, even though you're probably not. A few people are probably buying like 6 or 7 games at a time. You probably are going to the store to buy the specific game you want. At least that's what I imagine. Like, how many people do you think are browsing a digital store?
I feel like it's fair to say there may be a handful. Like, folks have just finished a game and want to find something similar. I think the thing that always bugs me, and I understand why it's this way, especially with Nintendo, that searches are weighted in a certain way to surface their games above everything else. I was curious about this, but something that Steam has been doing incredibly well for forever now is the whole wish list feature. Because now when I see something that I'm mildly interested in, just throw it on the wish list. And then when it comes out or it's on sale, I'll get pinged. I didn't realize that you could do that on the Sony Store as well. Yep.
Yeah, those almost all of them have wish lists now. Even the Switch has a wish list feature. So it's like I do that. I don't know if they're quite as effective as the Steam one, where it's like, okay, that one really remembers if you wish listed anything. If it goes on sale, gets a discount. you'll get notified right away. I think these other stores are pretty good at that. That just like Steam's very effective at that. But still, it's like, yeah, you could take advantage of that, and anything you can sort of do on your own to make it easier, I think, is also a good solution here. People pointing out like the Game Pass app on desktop on PC is terrible. Like you can't even sort by new. Like, yeah, that's like
really bad.
All these companies really bad at a lot of this stuff, like across the board.
Yeah.
I really dislike using Xbox Game Pass on PC because of that stuff. So it's like when it comes time to like install something, I think we did Shredder's Revenge. I'm like, man, I'm struggling just to find where to go to make this happen. Eventually I do, and it's fine, and I'm getting the game as part of my cost, so it's like I don't have to spend any extra money. So I'm like, okay, this is still better than spending money, but not by much. It's not that much.
Not by much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just let the algorithms learn about me. Just I accept it. I accept them.
All right. I want to ask a new question here. Let's not do it as a reply. Let's see here. If a game is fun, can you ignore other parts that you don't like? Jan, I'm asking this because of Forspoken, but we don't know if that game is fun. We don't even know if it has parts we don't like. I just know it has so far an advertisement I think is pretty bunk. But let's say it comes out and the voice acting is that bad. If it's very fun, how much does that hurt your overall experience? Because I feel like I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing this stuff, where if the game is fun, I can ignore a lot. But that doesn't mean it doesn't drag it down some.
I'm the first experience. The first game that comes to mind is Horizon Forbidden West, and I feel like us as a website at the time looked over the game super hard when it came to Game of the Year deliberations. I wanted to give Forbidden West a fair shot, but so there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking and a lot of movement. So it's one of those things where, if that is going to be especially around in Forspoken, where the main character will not stop talking, which is weird because I'm completely fine with it in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Well, I mean, because you know what? I think what you're talking about there does affect gameplay, though, because Horizon is a game about analyzing your environment, looking around, figuring out what you're supposed to be doing, and what she's doing is telling you what you should be doing, basically. And it's like if you have a tuned gamer ear where everything you hear in a game, you like relate to, like, how does this help me? In that game, it's like, it's immediately just like, okay, it's slots in place. Here's how you solve the puzzle based on what she just said. She's telling you what matters in this environment. And I think that subverts the gameplay a little bit. And my understanding is they've updated it so that this is a little bit, that happens less frequently, I think. So,
fantastic.
So maybe, part of me thinks that the reason they had it like turned up so much is for the review period, where they didn't want reviewers to feel stupid ever. But that's my conspiracy theory, but I don't, maybe it isn't really what happened. But either way, like, that's still a lot of people complained about that. And I think it's specifically because it subverts what you want from that game. In Xenoblade, it's just a bunch of kids yelling random stuff and being excited about killing. And that's silly and it may be annoying to people, but it's not making other parts of the game actively worse. It's not
right.
It is like either you like this thing or you don't, but it's not making the combat worse, right?
No, it's not. And then, like, at certain points, you can really just tune it out, versus the way Aloy was narrating was kind of straight up, not even a breadcrumb trail, but directly guiding you to things. I guess another example of a game that has a bunch of annoying things in it, but I still like it, is something like Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
The only annoying part is just like the gacha element. Just because I know my vices and my temptations, but I also see for other folks that, like, I gotta get this 5-star person. I gotta get it. Give me the rolls. And like just predatory aspects of
right,
financially predatory aspects of games. Just like it's a bummer sometimes.
Yeah. When a game makes me think about how I'm spending money, that usually, it's like I can ignore it up to a point. But then when I begin to see through the veil and I'm like, I look around and suddenly realize, I'm on a content treadmill and I'm on a monetization treadmill. That happened with me with Hearthstone, where it's like, I'm enjoying it. And then suddenly the illusion just broke and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the next opportunity to either spend money or find a creative way to avoid spending money. And I'm fully on their treadmill. I need to just step off and walk away from it. And so like up to a point, and then when it breaks, I have to like just break up with the game, and that's fine. I think another maybe good example, Neon White, where I don't dislike the story. It was not what I was there for. So I was choosing not to engage with it, and the game provided me a way to not engage with it, and yet I'm fully able to enjoy every other aspect of that game. So it's like when the game like enables me to compartmentalize, I'm going to take advantage of that and 100%, and just like, okay, I can enjoy playing this game on its own.
He Drive 88 with the proper calling me out here. Pokemon Go is one of those other love-hate relationships. I don't want to tell the world how much money my partner has spent playing that game, and vis-a-vis also me spending money on that game.
Do you have a running total? Like, do you know how much money?
So it has become a tradition for the past 4 years to get her an Apple gift card to boost her
okay. So
her,
it's like a physical paper trail.
Yes. So that is at least accounting for 4 years, and that's just her because she refuses to link any of her cards to like Apple Pay or whatever.
Right. Okay.
I will not participate in everything, but I will occasionally throw in $5 of like, oh, I need some coins. Let's get some. Just throw in $5. So I have a paper trail of how much money we have collectively spent on Pokemon Go, and I am ashamed. This is why millennials can't buy houses. It's not avocado toast.
Damn right.
It's because of Pokemon Go.
I had to put down the Pokemon Go. I got a house, but I look at Pokemon Go. I'm like, can't afford that shit. I can't afford that shit. No way.
Jeff, they just released a Pokemon to the game yesterday, and I was very confused by this notification. But a Pokemon called Grubbin is now available.
Oh no, I have to play. My people are in the game finally. All right, to see the results of that poll, return tomorrow for another morning mess here on Giant Bomb. And speaking of Giant Bomb, here's what is up for the site today and for the rest of the week. Jan, we got the Spider-Man Quick Look Live I'm going to do with Rory after this, once we get it pieced together. So stick around, everybody. We're going to keep going right into a stream. Then there's voicemail dump truck and build a bumper sticker test stream, which premium only for this first one, right, Jan?
Premium only for this first one.
We test it.
Yeah, well, we tested, make sure all the art is working.
Exactly. Just make it, because we're doing some different things with this, and we're just like, hey, we'll test it with the Insight community, and then once we do another one of those, it should be live for everybody, and you'll probably be able to watch this later at some point as well. Then we have the very online show 25 coming later today. Yesterday we put up the Cult of Lamb quick look that is out.
Yes.
And you could watch Slow Runners, a new feature that me and Dan did, where we play Snow Runner. And Dan immediately flips a truck because he was going to play with the crane and pick up cement. And to quote him, he says, "I didn't think cement would be that heavy." And therefore, his truck immediately flipped over on its side. And we spent quite some time trying to save that truck, which we got it upright, and then he flipped it over again. So if that sounds fun to you, it was very fun. Please go watch Slow Runners. That's on the site now. It's on YouTube. It's something I always like ever since the game came out. I'm like, this would be a fun game to just mess around in multiplayer with for a video feature. And here it is. I got to do it. So I'm very excited to get a chance to watch it. Yeah, I spoiled you, but the fun part is how we fix our situations. There are a couple pilot cars for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the bonuses of working for the site is I just watch things earlier than everyone else. And that was a great time. Just two cool dudes and not just two, but cool several cool trucks.
Yes, and we share a cab in the top right. So if you want to, just watch it for the visuals. Really, honestly, it's good stuff. Yeah. All right, Jan. I think we can wrap this show up. Thank you so much for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Jeff Grubb.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.